It's one thing to have a great team on paper, but what do you do when that team isn't performing on the ice? Today, guys, we are diving into line combos and chemistry to best maximize the talent at your disposal. How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to Franchise Mode University, the one stop for you guys to master your franchise modes. And today, guys, we are talking about chemistry in line combos. And this is a question I got on one of the previous Franchise Mode University videos. So if you haven't seen those, go check out the playlist. And if you guys have any questions on franchise mode, let me know. I can dive into those and we can break them down so you guys can have success and win a bunch of cups in your franchise modes. But chemistry is something that has really gone through a big change since it was introduced years ago. And I think that it means still a good amount now, but it's not the same as it used to be. It's actually a lot easier to me, I feel like, to find chemistry on your roster. You used to have to churn players or churn coaches and find the perfect combo and get the +5s everywhere, and you'd be all set. You're always looking for a sniper, power forward, playmaker, or a bunch of two-way forwards or grinders or some kind of combination like that. And while I still think power forward, sniper, playmaker is still a great 1, 2, 3 for a scoring line, I don't think you can really bank on just the player types anymore. And I think a big thing is the conversation system that they did add. And that's where we're going to start. So you guys can see the first line here, we have that playmaker, power forward, sniper combo that you're always looking for in your top two lines. Your number one line for sure, maybe less so on your second line. You can get away with a two-way forward instead of a power forward, or maybe a two-way forward instead of a playmaker. It can happen, especially if they do simulate as playmaking forwards. You can see that Josh Norris maybe isn't that great of a playmaking two-way forward. He's got 86 passing, 89 offensive awareness though, but he is a great defensive mind at 89 defensive awareness. Jason Zucker here is actually a fantastic playmaking two-way forward. You can see he's got 5-star puck skills. He's got 92 passing, 93 puck control, and then his offensive awareness is a 90. So he's exactly the kind of guy that I'm going to want to be the playmaker on this second line. And we are in 2026, so I have simulated. Those of you that watch the draft and develop video, this is that same roster, so we can see how they develop another year. But for now, we can take a look at a completely random 1 year into the future roster that I'm going to have to manage and get the most out of here. So you can see that it's not exactly the most talented, but we want to get those +5s, because that all of a sudden gets Yuri Kulik to a 90, Tage Thompson to a 96, and Zach Benson to a 93. That is a fantastic, high quality first line. Getting a +5 on the second line would get us to a 92, a 90, and an 88. I think that would be a truly spectacular second line, and we might actually be able to make some noise with those lines. But as you guys can see over to the right, the line fits just aren't there. And Tage Thompson, he's our number one center, right? He's our number one forward. He's a 91 overall. He's our dude. And you can see that his compatibility with Coach Lindy Ruff, it's not really there. It's not there, right? Don't get me wrong. He's not like a complete non-factor, non-fit like Yuri Kulik is here. But Tage Thompson's a guy we absolutely want to get to fit our scheme. And this is one of those things where you might have recycled your coach and refreshed your save if you were trying to get it right in years past. But I believe it was last year they added the conversation. And what we're going to do is when we get to the start of the season, we're going to start some of these conversations. One of the things I do recommend too is doing these season goals. It's long, it's arduous, it's a pain in the butt, but I do think it is pretty handy to have a say in the development of your players and getting them some X factors. So let's go ahead, jump to the start of the regular season here. It's going to be just a couple weeks. It'll probably be about the 11th or 12th. It might stop us that. And then once we're there, I'll show you guys what to do next. And on your way to the start of the season, you may get a conversation with your coach to pop up. This doesn't really have to do with line combos and maximizing chemistry, but it's certainly going to help you have a more successful season. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to go with your coach, just agree with them, just don't even bother trying to finagle with it. Just agree with your coach on the season goals. And then in preseason, one of the things that I like to do is always go to 5v5 focused. Offensive and defensive awareness are massive for simulation stats. If you are playing the games, you will definitely notice by year 2 or 3, those guys that have been on your team forever, you'll definitely notice that -3, -2 speed. So maybe you do want to, instead of that, maybe go with the video session so you don't have to worry about the speed. The shot power is something that can rebound based on their growth and their statistical growth. Go with team bonding if you have morale on, or you can hopefully get your goalies to improve and then be more of a defensive team. personally, to me, I'm always going for the 5v5 focused. For this one, we will go with the power play so that we can get no, I'm sorry, not power play. Which one was it? Geez, I completely lost it here. It was the video sessions. So go with the video sessions. We'll lose a little bit on shot power, which means we may not score as many goals, but I found that shot power doesn't impact the simulation nearly as much as offensive and defensive awareness. So this one might be the way to go. Puck control is also great for limiting giveaways and turnovers in the simulation. But just for the sake of those of you that like to play it, because you guys have been in the comments, and I love to hear that there's still some of you out there that actually play all 82 games, or at least try to play a period or a few games a season, because man, like, I used to do that. Nah, we'll save story time for another time, but I I don't have time to do anything but calendar sim for YouTube at this point. So here we go. We'll just go ahead with video sessions. Long story short, wow, that was really long-winded. Go with the ones that are going to raise your defensive and offensive awareness. All right, so we are here on the 12th, as I predicted. And the first thing we're going to do is just check edit lines and just show you guys one more time that, yeah, we didn't get any special bonuses. We didn't get any boosts. Everybody is still, you know, the overall that they're supposed to be. And we want to maximize these lines and get the best chemistry possible. And here's a little tip for you guys that do play with morale on, and maybe convince some of you that have morale off. You can actually just come into the player card here with the right stick and click on the meeting available from here, and you can just maneuver through all of your edit lines this way, rather than scrolling through that list and forgetting where you were. I do that all the time. Maybe it's just me and I'm not paying enough attention, but what we're gonna do is just go into Yuri Kulik's player card, start that meeting, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about on ice play. We're gonna go with scheme fit. Now this doesn't always have a chance to work. This time it did. I'll show you guys over to the right. It did say that there was a convincing chance. Maybe with somebody like Tage Thompson or another player, we might not have as good of a chance, but I want Yuri Kulik to play on my first line. He's gonna be my best sniper on the team. So yes, I want him to fit the chemistry for line number 1. Understood. So he is going to go ahead and now fit head coach Lindy Ruff's scheme for the first line. And you can see over to the right, we've got all those green check marks. Even though he didn't before, he was pretty bad fit, right? We saw that. He did not fit at all with the coach's scheme for line 1. Now he's a perfect fit, and we've gone up from +2 to +3, and that's just by getting Yuri Kulik to agree. And I'll show you guys here with Tage Thompson and Zach Benson, and the same process will be for the defenseman as well. But we'll go to Tage Thompson, we'll go to the meeting available, we'll talk to him about his on-ice play. Scheme fit, again, it's a convincing persuasion success right there in the middle of the screen, so go ahead and try it. And Tage Thompson doesn't want to do it. So I knew this was going to happen. Don't panic. The reason I called out that we're on October 12th is you can do this once a month. So when we get to November 12th, I'm going to stop the sim or make sure I make a note of it or something and come back in and talk to Tage Thompson and see if I can get him to now agree to the scheme fit. And we'll go to Zach Benson. Hopefully he does, because we can really show you the power of at least 2 of the 3 guys having the scheme fit. So we're going to talk to him about his on-ice play. Scheme fit, again, a convincing chance. So same as Tage Thompson and same as Yuri Kulik. We're going to talk to him, and there we go. We can see we got the lines. Zach Benson is going to accept changing his play style a little bit, if you will, and then we'll ask him to be line number 1. He'll accept that because he already accepted it at the first one. That was our decision point, and there we go. Now we have a +4, so we've gone from +2 to +4 just by having 2 out of the 3 of our guys accepting the coach's change. And we could even see this you know, with the line chemistry. If we move Josh Norris up, actually he's a pretty good fit. A big factor too into chemistry is X factors. They are going to really boost it. You can see over to the far right, it says X factor chemistry line contributor. Tage Thompson's big rig, the power forward in him, is helping the chemistry on the line. And Yuri Kulik's sniper, quick release, that's what's boosting this line. Josh Norris wheels as a 2-way forward. That's what's helping out this line. So, you know, you'll get the X factors to help out the line chemistries. We'll talk about line number 3 here and what to do when you have a player that's maybe too good for the role they're in. For example, Jason Zucker. This is the perfect example. This is what I wanted to mention. Jason Zucker, to me, 88 overall. Really, with our team, he is going to be a second liner, and I don't want him really to be a first liner. So what I'm going to do is actually not talk to Jason Zucker. He already fits the second line super well, and I'm not going to risk trying to get him to fit the first line because maybe Lindy Ruff doesn't have the same first line chemistry in second line. So I think it is, okay, so it's slightly different. There you go. You can see that under current coach, that second column where it says player preference, current coach right there, you can see that the second line does have a slightly different chemistry, though they do share quite a bit with the block and the balanced, and they're really close. So anyway, Jason Zucker, if I got him to accept a conversation about changing his scheme fit, he's not going to do anything beneath his current role or a medium elite player, their projected role, if you will. So Jason Zucker, if I got him to ask to accept, I would ask him to play as a second liner. He would immediately say no. What you need to do is you would have him be a first liner if you really needed to change the chemistry. In this case, we don't. Josh Norris, though, he's an 86. He would accept a second line scheme fit. So we're just going to go ahead, go to meeting available, on ice play. We can see that it's a convincing chance to persuade him to change his strategy. Boom, he's listed as a second line role. I'll ask him to buy into the second line. Game on, so he is good to go. So that is a big factor there. And there we go. Now we have all check marks for Josh Norris. And Jack Quinn, who is very far away from it, is a third line scoring forward. But listen, he's got medium top 6. He's 25. I think I can still get a little bit more out of Jack Quinn. So I'm going to play him a little higher up here on the second line. So we're going to go ahead and talk to him about his on-ice play. Hopefully he does accept the scheme fit. He does. And since he's listed as a third line role, asking him to buy into the second line is not a problem. It's only the inverse that is going to be a problem. So if you ask him to be a third liner, but he's listed as a second liner, that's not going to work. And already you can see we have check marks. Now we'd be a little bit higher if we had some more X factors, if we didn't have two-way sniper. If we did have a playmaker up here, we might be able to get a little bit more, but I mean, Oslin doesn't fit the chemistry. To me, chemistry fit is more important than the player type. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would love to have a playmaker, sniper, power forward, or two-way forward on every line. But to me, having all those green check marks is already going to get you like +3, +4, get some X factors on there, get them playing well together, and all of a sudden you'll see it take off. So I think if Zucker did have the offensive strategy, we would see a little bit better there. And I think that maybe if I move Zach Benson down, he's a playmaker. He doesn't really fit. Again, like I said, I'm more so worried about just talking to the guys and getting them to fit the scheme. And the same thing goes for the defense. Offensive defenseman and defensive defenseman is the best kind of pairing. But as you can see, don't throw away your two-way defensemen. Dahlin and Owen Power are both two-way defensemen. Dahlin's got X factors coming out the wazoo. They both do, essentially. So they're getting a +4, even though they barely fit the scheme. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Rasmus Dahlin to go ahead and see if I can get him to play as a first-line defender. Same thing, scheme fit. He's going to accept. By the way, guys, you can scroll over and see power play and penalty kill. Never do that. If they accept the line chemistry, they'll automatically accept both special teams as well. So I don't know why that one's in there. Don't bother using it. Just use line 1 and boom, already +5. Don't even have to talk to Owen Power. We're getting a +5. So Dahlin's a 100 overall, though you can't be that. He'd be basically a 99 overall, and Owen Power would be a 96 overall. So I'm going to go through and do this with as many guys as possible, and then we'll break down how to evaluate your lines and get your lines clicking the way you want them to here in a few months. One quick hack I just wanted to let you guys know really quickly. I have Matthias Samuelsson on my third pairing because our D-core is absolutely stacked, right? But he thinks of himself as a top 4 defenseman. He's currently our 5th defenseman playing on the third pairing. Now, one of the things I want you guys to take note of is that line 1 and line 3, and this is especially true for defensive pairs, sometimes the line chemistries are duplicated, right? So your line 1 and your line 3 might have the same chemistry. Your lines 2 and lines 1 might have the same chemistry as far as defensive pairs. Matthias Samuelsson was not going to accept fitting on the third pair, but I knew that since line 1 had the same chemistry as line 3, if I asked him to fit line 1, he would fit line 3. So he accepted line 1, even though he's playing on the third pair. He looks at himself as a second pairing. So I was able to get him to accept that, and now all of a sudden I have a third pairing defenseman that fits my chemistry. So it's a little thing that may happen sometimes. Keep an eye out for that. It's the first time I've ever done it, but I paid attention to it this time because we're talking about it, guys. So again, these little things setting you up for success in franchise mode. But there you have it, guys. Conversations are done. So we're going to go ahead and simulate 2 November 12th and just show you guys if we can get some of the more of these guys to accept the chemistry. A guy like Tage Thompson would be a big one. Jason Zucker, maybe he won't view himself so much as a first liner at this point. Maybe he'll drop to an 87, or his role mentally will change. McLeod didn't accept third line, so we'll see what happens when we have a two-way forward, a two-way forward, and a two-way forward. I believe it's going to be a really good line. I just need Ryan McLeod to fit. And then the fourth line, it's hard to really find guys to buy into your fourth line. I screwed up with Justin Danforth. I asked him to be a fourth liner, even though he accepted. He said no, so what I'm going to have to do is a third line chemistry for him. Isaac Roseanne, I don't want, I have plans for him in the future, if you will, so I don't want him to fit the fourth line right now and have to keep asking him, you know, in the future this season. Noah Ostlund would absolutely accept it listed as a fourth line forward. Isaac Roseanne, excuse me, wouldn't even accept it, but so Ostlund was the guy I meant to say that, hey, I want to get him to fit the third line so he at least gets some chemistry. And then our blue line, as you guys saw a sneak peek, it is looking great. Once Bowen Byram accepts it, we should have a really great looking middle pairing as well. But guys, the chemistry is looking great. Let's go ahead and go a month or two, see if we can get the rest of the chemistry done, and then I'll tell you how to analyze your lines more so than just goals and plus minus. So we're a couple months in. It's now December 12th, and for the most part, everybody has accepted the chemistry. The top line, now everybody has a chemistry. We're just missing Zach Benson getting himself an X factor to get a +5. The second line, now everybody is fit because Jason Zucker came down 1 overall point, maybe Morale, maybe something else, but we're looking good there. We're getting the plus chemistry as well. Would be nice if we got another X factor on this line to help out, but they would also have to fit the scheme, and it, you know, for me, I feel like fitting the scheme is the most important part. And then the third line here, getting the +1 as well. I think the most important part, guys, is not having minuses, right? So we're getting there. The team needs more talent overall to help with the line chemistry. I also don't love Coach Lindy Ruff's styles. Defensively, as you can see, once you have X factors and people accept the chemistry, let's see if Bo Byram actually accepts it, because we're currently at +3. I'm hoping that Bo Byram will finally accept the scheme fit to be a middle pairing defenseman. Very risky, and it's not going to pay off. Of course, thanks, Bo. Really helping me out here in the video. So, as you guys can see, line chemistry is not the end-all be-all. You do also need talent. You can't just throw poor players on certain lines. There we go. Connor Timmins is going to accept. Thankfully, he's a friend of the video. There you go. Thank you. But now we get a +3 up from a +2, so that certainly is going to help that bottom pairing there. But again, something isn't working, right? We're a bad team right now, and could it be talent? Let's be honest, it's probably talent, but how do we really identify how to get some of our top guys going? What is really the issue with this team? So let's go ahead and go take a look at the stats. So now we're going to go ahead, take a look at our player stats, and it's Rasmus Dahlin leading the way with 19 points in 24 games. Yikes, that is not great. Taking a look at the forward core, what do we have here? It is Tage Thompson, but Jason Zucker happens to be the #2 guy as far as points on the team. Same thing with Josh Norris. Now, Jason Zucker, if you notice, has 3 power play points, but maybe it's worth considering moving Jason Zucker up and Zach Benson down. Maybe Zach Benson isn't quite ready for that top line playmaker role. You can see he is a passer of the puck. He doesn't shoot a tremendous amount, though he is tied for second on the team behind Jason Zucker. Yuri Kulik actually might be the problem with that top line. Maybe we do want to run a top line of Zucker, Benson, and Thompson, because right now Kulik is not shooting like a guy that I would assume would be a top line player for us. And you might be asking, how do I know he's not shooting like a top line player? Well, he's a sniper, and he's 4th on our team despite getting first line ice time. If we take a look at the top shooters in the league, these are the guys that are going to be putting in goals a ton. So if you get a player in the draft and you draft them and they're a sniper, but they just don't seem to be scoring, compare how they're doing shooting the puck to some of the rest of the league. And you can see these are some of the best goal scorers in the league. Like, sure, Barkov and Kachuk are under 10%. Same thing with Kyle Connor. These guys are having poor shooting starts to the season, but with 5-star shooting categories, there's no reason to believe that they're not going to be in that 14, 13, at least 10% range, a guy like Evander Kane. And honestly, a guy like Evander Kane is a power forward. He might be the perfect player to go trade for and acquire. Now, he's an 87 overall. He is 35, so he might be harder to acquire. But he's playing 21 minutes, so you can tell he's playing first line ice time. Any forward playing over 20 minutes is a first liner. For us, you can see that Thompson, Benson, Kulik, they're playing 20 plus minutes, they're first liners. Our first liners, we really want to have somebody with over 100 shots at this point in the season. So if we are still sorted by shots, sure, that's a high bar, but somebody at least in the mid to upper 90s. You can see as we scroll over here, we should still be having these guys be primary first liners. And it's not until, well, wow, Coleman, actually, Blake Coleman, if you're looking for a guy that shoots, maybe Blake Coleman's the guy to go trade for. 84, second line forward, power forward. Again, you need guys that are going to shoot the puck. You want to be having guys that shoot the puck on your roster. That's how you're going to score goals. That's how your players are going to put up points. That's how they're going to have successful statistical growth and career growth. You're going to want to see them shooting the puck. But if we go back to our team, you can see that we only have a few guys that are actually shooting the puck. And so I think we may either need to acquire a player that's going to shoot the puck or make some line changes to move up a guy like Jason Zucker so that he's shooting, or maybe moving down Zach Benson or Yuri Kulik in that. Maybe we move Ryan McLeod up from the third line up to the second line and start to sort it out that way, because we want guys that are going to fire the puck on net. He's playing 14 minutes a night, yet he's what, 5th in forwards and shots? Yeah, Ryan McLeod's a guy I got to give more ice time to, absolutely. And he's shooting 14.6%. So as you guys can see, this is kind of how you adjust your lines mid-season, and then the chemistry follows from there. So I had an idea on paper of what I wanted the lines to look like. We were a couple months in, it's absolutely not working. So I'm going to make some of these changes, right? Jack Quinn is shooting the puck a good amount. I believe he is on the second line, but he might have to get bumped for Ryan McLeod, who's on the third line and shooting more. So we'll maybe make some tweaks to the lines. It is the 12th, so the chemistry thing, we could talk to some of these guys again and get them to change their style. The next thing I want to look at is giveaways, and the giveaway to takeaway ratio is something that not too many people talk about or really look into, but it's something I really care about. And the first thing I'm noticing is Zach Benson is a defensive god. 47 takeaways to 15 giveaways is insane. Josh Norris, I don't love having forwards that give the puck away more than they take it away. Part of that could be his semi-poor, I won't call it poor, it's a 4-star puck skills, but that could be part of the reason why. He is second on the team in takeaways, so you can see that's where the defensive side of things is coming in, but he is number 1 on the team in giveaways. You want to keep looking for these guys that are on the positive side of the takeaway to giveaway ratio. Noah Ostlund, maybe it's not time for him to play in the NHL. I still like to give him more time. It's only 3 takeaways to give away, so that's fine. I know he's young. Jason Zucker is at a 50-50 ratio. McLeod's basically just telling me that he is a really good player and I need to give him more ice time. The guy is got more takeaways than giveaways. He's a shooter of the puck. He's got a high percentage shooting, and he's only playing 14 minutes a night. Justin Danforth is a fantastic fourth liner. I'm not going to get rid of him because he's got almost 3 times as many takeaways to giveaways. And that's one of the things you guys want to keep an eye on, especially some of those fourth liners. You're like, how do I know who I retain as my fourth liner? You're going to want guys that can kill penalties because they take the puck away and they throw their body around and maybe they block some shots. Jason Zucker throws his body around nicely, so that's actually a stat that we may want to pay attention to as well. But then we start to get down here into the danger zone. Josh Doan, 19 giveaways to 10 takeaways. This guy is just not managing the puck well at all. He's having a much better season IRL, but he might be a guy that I want to get rid of. And yes, I'm high on Josh Doan. I want to see Josh Doan succeed, but it might just not be on my team. If we take a look at what he did last season in the simulation, because we have a full season that I just kind of did during the growth, he didn't play a ton. As you can see, he only played 11 minutes again, bottom 6 line. But he had, again, a higher giveaway to takeaway ratio last year. So he's not a guy that's taking care of the puck. And we can't shoot, we can't score, and we get scored on when the puck's not on our stick. Same thing with Yuri Kulik, though I'm not quite ready to give up on 22-year-old Yuri Kulik. I think he can develop his puck skills and his defense so that this starts to flip. We're not in panic territory yet, but a guy like Josh Doan, we may want to move on from him and go after somebody else. If we take a look at the entire league's takeaway to giveaway, you'll start to see that, yeah, some of the best players in the league are up here at the top of the takeaway to giveaway ratio. Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, and then you've got surprise guys here and there, like Noah Cates being the 4th best in the league as an 86. This is an under the radar guy that hey, maybe my team isn't performing well, but I can't go out. I'm obviously not going to be able to trade for a Nathan McKinnon or a Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby. Maybe I want to go after a guy like Noah Cates. He's got 21 points. He shoots the puck moderately well, right? He's getting only 17 minutes a night, and he's got 9 more shots than a guy like Zach Benson. He's playing 3 minutes fewer than Connor McDavid, yet he only has 8 fewer shots. He's almost as much shots as Sidney Crosby, right? So Noah Cates, to me, in the sim right now, if we double check what he did last season, yeah, absolutely, I want to go after this guy. 103 takeaways. Well, this is just crazy, and 200 hits. And this is the kind of guy that you're not going to have to give up the world to go after. And yes, he only put up 53 points, but he is certainly going to be a reason that your team is winning and not losing. And you can see, look at the rest of the list here. Zach Benson, we know he's a high potential, medium elite, 87, 21-year-old. Quentin Byfield, X Factors, 90 overall, like Austin Matthews, Kucherov, Reinhardt. But you see these guys like Noah Cates, you go after him, you bring him in, you do what it takes, because it's not going to take as much as obviously everybody else on that list is going to take a ton. So maybe I go to Philadelphia and say, hey, what would it take to get Noah Cates off your team? Now, he is valuable for sure, but he's not the most valuable guy on their team. And quite frankly, he's the 6th most valuable guy on their team. So pretty valuable, but not like I can't go after him and get him. And maybe it is a situation where I'm ready to shed Josh Norris's contract in a third. I don't want to give up Kesselring. Maybe this is a trade I do. I give up a second, I give up a prospect, and I give up Jack Quinn. Maybe I could get them to instead talk about, seeing if I can throw in, instead of Jack Quinn, I throw in Josh Doan, and we start the conversation there. But, I think that this would be something that I would be very, very in favor of. Josh Doan, does he have more or less? He's got the same value as Jack Quinn, and I'm going to keep Jack Quinn. I know they're both expiring contracts, but I think Jack Quinn was performing a little bit better. He was shooting pretty well for our team, does have a better giveaway to takeaway ratio. So I am going to go ahead and throw in Josh Doan. We're going to give up Mertka because it's just, guys, it's just what it is, 73-19. I like him IRL, but whatever. And again, this is just for YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and bring in Noah Cates. Trade accepted. Beautiful. And that's going to shake up our lines a little bit. So as you guys can see, it's December 12th. Our lines are going to shuffle. We're going to make some of those changes. We're giving McLeod more ice time, but we're 7-13-4. Things needed to change. I identified some weak spots where Josh Doan is a massive giveaway guy. We don't have enough shots on the team right now, and we're going to kind of give some high shooters some ice time. So we'll see in another couple months and maybe some chemistry changes how it goes. So we've gone another month here, and in that time span, we went 8-6-1. So definitely turn it around a little bit. It's not enough really to say we're going to vault into the playoffs, but you can see that what we have done is kind of stabilize things. And Noah Cates, I mean, honestly, guys, for what we gave up for him to now be leading the team in points, yes, he's played 5 more games than everybody, but 33 points in 44 games. He's a +17. I'll show you what he's done here in Buffalo. He's been playing on the second line for us with Ryan McLeod and, I forget, I think it might be Yuri Kulik. He's got 12 points in 15 games, so our second line is now almost a point per game. He's a +11, which is by far the best that we've seen. And you can see that his takeaway to giveaway ratio is, not nearly as insane, but we'll give it time and we know it can get there. But for the most part, this guy has been an absolute bonus for our team. And a guy like Josh Norris is really starting to scare me, honestly. -13. His giveaway to takeaway ratio is not really improving. Still a suboptimal giveaway to takeaway ratio. He's a 50-50 guy last year. He might be a guy that I'm honestly willing to get rid of to improve again. Zach Benson finally scored his first goal, so good for him. He's a -3, and is he continuing to be a giveaway takeaway god? Yeah, 68 takeaways to 26 giveaways. So honestly, guys, I think that if we continue to go through this cycle of finding guys with good takeaways and giveaways, finding guys that are going to shoot the puck, right? Cates, Thompson, Zucker's getting more ice time, so now he's got 102 shots, right? And we'll go look real quick. One of the things I like to do is always compare myself to the best teams at a certain attribute, right? So we'll go to the entire league. Who's the best goals for per game team? It's the Florida Panthers or the Edmonton Oilers or the Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously teams that are much more talented than we are. We are still building there. I didn't make any real big moves other than Cates. We even let Alex Tuck walk. But the Florida Panthers, right? So let's go take a look at the Florida Panthers stats and compare them to us as far as shots. are concerned. So we see that, oh wow, okay, so maybe it is Rasmus Dahlin and Bo Byram, oh, wow, from the back end leading us in shots. But anyway, I like to get the forwards to shoot because they're usually the guys that are closer to the net. Anyway, Thompson, Cates, and Zucker. Cates not really our doing, but Thompson and Zucker, 130 and 102. If we go to the Florida Panthers here and see how they are shooting, you can see that they have a ton of guys in the 100 range, and with this is including defensemen too. So if we just look at the forwards, they actually have what is that, 5 guys over 100. Verhaeghe then is at 92. So you can see that they've got guys that are shooting the puck: Barkov, Marchand, Lundell, Reinhart, Kachuk. That's 5 forwards. We, on the other hand, only have, I believe it is 3 forwards, and one of those is because he's played a ton of games. Cates for us is shooting the puck. Let's see here. He is shooting, what, 31 times in 15 games, so about 2 shots per game. So realistically, he's not a huge shooter. He's a decent volume guy. But if we take a look at what he's doing, for the 39 games, he'd be at about 80 shots. So we really have 2 guys in the 100 plus shots. So we need to find guys that are going to shoot the puck. Maybe it's in the offseason. We talk to Yuri Kulik and say, hey man, I need you to shoot more. Part of his our low goal scoring is because he's a sub 7 shooter. And he's not shooting enough, and he's a sub 7 shooter. Last season we saw he was at 15%. So we could have used that. If he bounces back, it would be great. I'd love to see his giveaway to takeaway ratio not be a big albatross. Maybe snipers, I don't really care too much, but you can't have too many guys in the negatives. And Josh Doan was a guy in the negatives for me as far as giveaways and takeaways. Let's sort by giveaways, actually. We don't really have too many. It's Norris and Zucker, Kulik as well, but then you can see Cates and Benson are defensive demons. Oslin's there as far as more giveaways. I guess you could say Roseanne technically by 1, but it's not tremendous. Everybody else is on the right side of this here, so I also moved Danforth up. If we take a look at the defensemen, we'll kind of touch on that as well. Rasmus Dahlin is an insane player. Bowen Byram's an insane player, and Owen Power's an insane player. You don't really usually see this kind of blue line. Obviously, the Sabres, they've just thrown all their money at the blue line instead of the forward core, so that's why we're in the situation we're in. But you can see that they've got a lot of shooters. What I like to look for defensemen is their plus minus, first and foremost, obviously, but hits, blocks, giveaways, and takeaways. And I like to have guys that are closer to the Dahlin range than not. One of the big things with defensemen is they are naturally going to give the puck away more than they take it away. I don't like to have anybody more than really 70, maybe 80 giveaways in a season. You can see Dahlin is well under that threshold. We've played 39 games. So Byram, maybe even Power, Samuelson, those guys are questionable right now. They can improve their play. I'd really like to see it. I can live with it if they're playing a lot of ice time like Power and Byram are, but for Matthias Samuelsson to be playing 14 minutes and giving the puck away 33 times, third most on the team despite playing the second lowest ice time of my defenseman, it might be time to talk about Matthias Samuelsson looking great on the paper, on stats and defensive awareness and puck control, whatever. He looks great when you look at his player card, but when he's on the ice, he's actually not that good. He could be a guy that you dangle in front of the AI and get something very, very nice in return. He's not really blocking shots either. I want to see a block per game out of most of my defensemen, and he's just about there, right? Samuelsson to me is probably more alarming than a guy like Timmins. And obviously Bo Byram's not really a hitter. He's given the puck away a good amount, taken it away a decent amount. I think it's the most out of the defenseman, but he is a +3. He's producing points. So for all of his defensive faults, he's producing for me on the offensive end. The same thing can't be said about Samuelsson or Timmins. I like a guy like Kesselring because his ratio is pretty good. He's got a lot of block shots and a ton of hits, so you'll love to see that. Owen Power leads the Sabres in hits. Oh my God, Sabres fans, you can know why I'm rolling my eyes right now. But you can see that, Michael Kesselring, 17 points, +4. He's a great partner for Bo Byram. He brings that physical edge that Bowen Byram doesn't bring. You can see that the hits, they're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Same thing with blocks, giveaways and takeaways. Kesselring's a lot more cautious with the puck, and that's kind of fine for me. When you've got guys that are putting up points, Dahlin's blocking shots, and he's putting up a ridiculous amount of points. Power's doing a little bit of everything. Points, hits, blocks, turnover ratio. It's a little high, but he's playing 25 minutes, so I'm fine with it. And he's one of my more aggressive players. So honestly, a guy like Mattias Samuelsson or even Connor Timmins, though I'm less worried about him. He's got 45 blocks from the least amount of ice time of our defensemen. He's looking really, really good for me there. But Mattias Samuelsson is really just kind of bringing up the rear when it comes to points. He is a +1, so I'm not like urgent to get rid of him. I think maybe he could bounce back. He's not the reason that we're not in a playoff position. And then goaltenders. I really do like to see goalies have a sub 316 goal against average. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. But again, we have an 84, so I can't really expect him to be otherworldly. The team in front of him isn't good enough. We're not really at a point where I can just say, oh, it's the goalie's fault. We're a goalie away. An improvement in goaltending would be great, but what I'd like to see first and foremost is us to shoot the puck more, us to have better takeaway to giveaway ratio, guys, especially on the blue line. And that's really what I would do here. We'd keep iterating on this team, making moves, kind of building it up until I have a team that not only has a bunch of high overalls, but has a bunch of those, what I can like to consider micro stats. And I know that shots and takeaways and hits and stuff, that's not micro in the sense of things, but really to me, the other thing I could do is fire Lindy Ruff and see if there's a better coach out there. Then we go through all of the stuff again. Lindy Ruff is a defensive head coach, which is, again, also very wrong. Maybe I lean into Chris Knobloch here, and we lean into his ability to coach forwards and be a bit more offensive, and that can maybe spark something for us. Maybe firing Lindy Ruff, who is not necessarily the greatest coach across the board. He's a great teacher, so maybe helping out our young guys, but A- offense. Power play is Jams here, and then the penalty kill is Wakabayashi. I honestly think our assistant coaches are really good. I'm totally fine with it. Maybe Wakabayashi is a little weak for that kind of coach. What I could do is I could just fire the one of those guys and demote Lindy Ruff if I didn't want to get rid of him entirely, because I have owner mode off, so I can do whatever I want with the budgets. But as you guys can see, we'll look over there. Our power play is a big issue, and our penalty kill is a big issue. So maybe it is time to maybe it is a coaching thing. But again, I also think it's partially talent. We've turned it around. I'll go ahead and go another month here. We'll get to February 12th and just see how the team does really quickly. And then kind of wrap this one up for you guys. I don't want to make this too long on you. So another month goes by. We're now 21, 25, and 5. I believe that puts us at 14, 12, and 1 since I've made those changes or made the trade for Noah Cates. Our penalty kill is upticked. Our power play is upticked. Our goals against have gotten a little bit better. Honestly, at this point, guys, it might be time to fire head coach Lindy Ruff. Although I will honestly say that the lines do kind of scream 500 roster. Zach Benson is now first line medium elite guy, so you love to see that. Jason Zucker, still on that top line, doing a little bit worse for us here. I haven't really messed with the lines. I wanted to let him ride here. The second line, though, seems to be a big plus. Yuri Kulik now a +13, McLeod a +5, and then Kate has obviously been, I think, the best trade I could have made in this video. And then Jack Quinn with Josh Norris and Justin Danforth continues to be good, but Josh Norris continues to not be good for us. And again, it continues a trend of what he did last year. And it's this, honestly, at this point, I would just cut bait with him. His giveaway to takeaway ratio is still going to be, it looks like it's going to be 500 forever. He's going to be a 50-point guy, and he's going to shoot, 200 times, which is good. But I think I would get rid of Josh Norris in this save and move on from him. He's making way too much money for the kind of player that he is. I would have, done this a lot sooner, but for the sake of the video, I wanted to let it ride. Defensively, maybe Mattias Samuelsson, he's still a +3, so that's nice to see. Last season, what was giveaway takeaway ratio? He gave it away 65 times, so that was okay. I think he's improved his giveaway rate. He's now at 43, and we're at over 50 games, so I think he's improving that a little bit. I'd like to see him hit a bit more or block a few more shots, but honestly, he's not a massive reason that we're not winning. He's a +3. Whatever. He's on the bottom pairing with Connor Timmins. Connor Timmins is a great partner for him because he's doing all the right stuff, the blocks. Giveaways, not too high. Again, defensemen are going to give the puck away, but ultimately, I think I'm satisfied with the blue line. I'd hope I was. Maybe Bo Byram's got to go because it's too many giveaways, although I think his giveaway ratio has kind of improved a bit. And obviously, Kesselring, I think, is a great partner for him. His giveaway to takeaway ratio is really good considering his hits and blocks. Playing 19 minutes a night. He's got 20 points. I think he's totally fine. And then obviously our two superstars and Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin. So We could go out and acquire a better goalie. I think we need just more overall talent. A lot of you that are looking at this roster are like, well, my team, your first line is my third line. And I understand that. This is just kind of my process of how I iterate through a team, what I look for, how I make better lines. It's not always all about the chemistry. It is often about the types of players you have too. So take them both in stride and don't sell out entirely for chemistry, because you can talk to these players and get them to fit the chemistry, and you can get those pluses. Our second line doesn't have the plus for some reason. I'm not entirely certain. I mean, we have all but one green check mark, so we'll go scheme fit. We'll hope he accepts. He doesn't. Oh well. But anyway, iterate on it. Look at the giveaway to takeaway ratio. Look at shots. You need shooters, and you also just kind of need talent. So right now, we aren't a talented enough team for me to really say that we should be first in the league. This team is a 500 roster if I've ever seen it. Some really, really strong players, but not a ton of talent on the forward core. And of course, goaltending. I mean, Luukkonen's actually improved. His goal against average has gotten much, much better. So I think if we continue to ride with this roster, continue to iterate, I think we would be able to make it there. If not this season, then next season we make the playoffs. But let me know, guys, was this helpful? Did I cover everything you'd want to see about line combos and chemistries and how to evaluate your roster? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, but that's all the time I have for this one. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one.
It's a free for all, but what we